Esik is back. My man, Aaron Cruz.
Pleasure.
Monterrey, California. Tacfit team leader. What's the name of the gym?
It's Alta Performance Institute.
Alta Performance Institute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to, definitely didn't want to name it after myself. I wanted to keep it as a, kind of like a concept, So, I don't need that much.
Attention?
Yeah, serious.
Egoless.
How long have you guys been knowing each other?
Wow.
Man, so
Like
we knew
Viking Ninja
and the Puerto Rican Ninja.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been.
We went to the same high school.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't know each other then, but I knew who he was just because I remember him from football. I mean, I used to play football, and I used to be like, "Oh yeah, I know Aaron Cruz."
Salinas.
I think I was like a year
Seaside.
older than you or something, a year or two.
Like 2 years, yeah, 2 years older.
Okay.
And so that's where I knew of him, but I found myself getting out of massage school, and then I go back to my hometown.
Oh, you went to massage school.
Yeah, my massage school was something I chose to do rather than like the educational schools that do the basic type of preparation for jobs and degrees. But this guy, Aaron, I stumbled into him, and he saw that I was doing massage, and he's like, "Oh man, we could use this for the gym." And so I was like, "All right, let's talk." And then we picked a place to talk, and it was this place called Monkey Ducks, and he was so lit up. Like his But this is when we were young.
How old are you guys? How old are you guys?
Right now?
No, back then.
Back then? I was
Man.
Were you guys still in high school? No.
No.
After high school.
This we
1920.
man, that's old, man. Like it's like
Was I like 30? I was 30, so you were probably like 28.
Okay.
it was pretty,
there.
yeah.
Okay.
So I
It
mean,
was about 12 years ago, yeah.
yeah, and it's crazy when you think about it because we're not like that no more. We're not just we're looking for the next thing, or we're looking to do something, or we're trying to get business going. We're actually in the realms of learning what the body's capable of, and I've learned this all from him. Aaron took me under his wing and really had to humiliate me to understand that that's what Tacfit takes, so.
I remember I was, so young and inspired and passionate by going through my own journey with Tacfit and CST. And when I met Erik and he told me about his background with massage, I was like, it's just another piece of the puzzle to healing the body. And, and I wanted that for my clients, I feel like that was always my destiny after healing my injury was, helping other people out with their pains. And, that was been my focus and passion above everything. It's helped me, stay focused as well, And
Well, how did you hear about Scott Sonnen?
Scott Sonnen, had like a bachelor pad with my good friend and business partner Mikey Donos, and then John Wolf at the time, and had a real bad injury to my neck wrestling and slipped.
I used to wrestle.
Yeah, and slipped all the disc. I used to wrestle in school, but this was more like drunk wrestling with the friends and stuff.
The worst ones.
I know when people don't.
The worst kind.
Yeah, exactly.
But
He did it to me in the gym too.
And so we were playing around with some moves, and I was messing around with somebody that's the classic, like you had to protect yourself more when you're wrestling or dealing with a white belt because you don't know what they're going to do. They're going to go 110% when you're supposed to be going like 30% or something. So that's what happened. I was in a position they didn't know what they were doing, and they cranked on a guillotine. And I was picking him up with my head weight, and he dropped his weight into a guillotine and just slipped all my disc. Yeah, I could hear him all popping and cracking. And it was strained the next day when I woke up, and then about 2 months later, I had all the trouble with my structure. I couldn't turn my head left or right. I couldn't look up anymore. And then that's when I found was it Pablo Test.
Power to the People, right?
Yeah, Power to the People.
Pablo Cellini's Power to the People book.
Yes, and I saw there's a part in there where he talked about Scott Sonnen and his mobility and stuff like that. And then John also had mentioned to me, because I was looking everywhere for help with my pain, and I was pretty much handicapped at that point. And he said maybe you should look into some of Scott Sonnen stuff. And I found some of his books, found his Into Flow DVD, and then you know, I was in enough pain to put myself through more pain to actually watch that whole DVD over and over again. 'Cause everyone has jokes about, you know, his Empty Flow DVD and how he delivers it, right?
Sure.
So I was in enough pain to really sit there and just absorb all that, and it was like the best thing I've ever heard. You know, I was like so into it and in tune because, you know, pain's a good motivator, you know, and I wanted to get better.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go through surgery or any kind of pills or anything. I just couldn't accept being the way I was. I've been active my whole life. And so I just started grinding it out. And I I literally was just doing elbow rotations. That's all I could do to release the tension into my neck, you know? And so I started learning through that. I started learning how your neck and everything's connected through your extensors, your biceps, all the way through your collarbone and chest. And then it just went on and on from there. I just learned more and more the more I did.
Everything said worked.
Yeah, it was a miracle.
Yeah. Why didn't you opt for surgery? Why didn't you like take the easy way out? You know.
You know, I think about
What made you actually walk the path and heal yourself actually through movement? Do it the right way, really.
Yeah, I think about that a lot, and I think you know, the difference between me and other people is like, you know, I didn't have insurance at the time, so a lot of people that have insurance, they usually get their jobs or whatever it is because they have a nice benefit package, insurance, and you know, once you're in the healthcare system, they're not going to direct you the right way. You know, you're thinking you're probably paid $500 a month for this insurance, so it better work for me. And I'm going to use it now, right? And all they want to do, the doctors, is give you pills, and they want to slice you open and inject you. So that's all. Those are their three options you're going to get. You're not going to get anything else. And I knew that wasn't an option for me. I was like, couldn't understand how that was going to fix my structure and my spine, the way the vertebrae are set up. You know, I had enough common sense to know that, and I didn't want. And the first guy I went to, he showed me a big old needle of, I guess it was like steroids or epidural, whatever.
Right.
Want to stick into my spine, and I just
spine.
in my spine, that just did not make sense in my head how that was going to do anything. You know, how was it going to help me turn my head again? Sticking, you know, stabbing me with this long needle, and so I just walked out of there. And then the next thing I looked for was chiropractor, and so I found chiropractor, and he had the
Were you able to sleep?
No, I couldn't sleep for months. Yeah,
Pains-
during that whole week, I was looking for help. I didn't sleep at all. I was a wreck. I mean, I would finally go to sleep when I was totally exhausted for like an hour or two, and I had to use props. I had to put pillows underneath my arms and around my head and neck, and I could only sleep on my back, and that was it. But I was like that for about it took 3 months from when I started the pain. I couldn't move my head anymore to where I had mobility back in my neck again. It was only because of the chiropractor and mobility. Like one or the other, it was so locked up that I needed that little bit of traction the chiropractor was giving me.
Create the space.
Yep. And then the mobility was loosening up the tissues, the surrounding tissues, making them more supple. So my joints did line up better, and I would get better results from the chiropractor. So both of them back and forth, you know, made my spine straight again. I mean, it went from the end, like the Jenga game, you know, at the end of the game when it's about to fall over. That's what my spine looked like, and now it's like straight, like the beginning of the game again. You know, so which is pretty incredible, right? A lot of people, you know, they don't think the body and the bones can work like that, but you can manipulate them if you do the right stuff. And Tacfit and CST was definitely the right stuff to do.
And on top of that, you know, seeing the process, I've seen his neck thick. I mean, his neck is thick, right? It looked like a good old wrestler neck, you know, just squished in. And so when he was doing this type of training with Tacfit, and he would do so much mobility practices with the shoulder, scap, and apply the club bell into the range of motion for efficiency in getting more strength, right? You see his neck getting longer, and you see him freeing up his scap, so his chest is starting to show. And so, you know, going through the years with this guy from one location to another, because we started at this place called 2 Steps Ahead, and these guys were running it at the time, and you know, I saw him, and he was good. He still had some issues, but
He was much better.
Yeah, along the years, he just forgot about it, and he just turned into a kid.
You just kept at it, right? You had any kind of tightness, and you knew what to do because of all the reps that you did.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's easy to stay motivated with this stuff too, because I could easily think back of how much pain I was in and how good I feel after, you know, doing Flow, doing Tacfit, doing CST. You know, you definitely feel the difference in your body. You can move so much better. And just like what you were saying, how, you know, you can do practice CST and Tacfit and automatically, you know, make you, past white belt status when it comes to your movement.
Jiu-jitsu,
right?
yeah.
And that's good. And that goes with anything.
Yep.
Your movement quality is so much better. So you could catch on your athleticism. You just become more athletic. So of course you're going to catch on to things a lot easier, and you're going to have the the movement capability and awareness, body awareness to to figure things out a lot faster. Like you said, you see that with multiple things.
And that's cool that you say that, body awareness, because with that comes the not panicking in the mind.
Right.
The mind knows what's going to happen, and the mind's ready to go.
We have prediction machines, right? So
Absolutely.
the better we can become at predicting, because we know where we're at. Yeah.
Prep and projecting after, when we need to. But the crazy thing is the body and the mind is actually together, simultaneously working together. And all of a sudden you have this thing that deteriorates fear, panic, and all this pressure,
Yeah. Man, it's really cool. You turned the negative into positive because you did the reps. You're able to heal yourself. Like you said, a miracle.
Yeah.
And now you're able to help others.
Yeah, countless people over the years. Like, it's unbelievable, some of the stories through my experience and then helping others, like, I'm constantly amazed at what this system can do. So,
Yeah.
I never get bored with it because of that. Every person that I help, inspires me, lights a new fire underneath me to continue, And that's why I feel like I'm doing it more than, it's not really about me, it's, I understand this stuff in a way where I feel obligated to share it with others and, help them heal from it. And on top of that, support, the founder of the system too. I definitely believe in that, and, making sure that, you guys get everything you need to, help the system grow and be what it should be to this day, because, like we talked about, everyone else has used it and named it different things.
Right.
And used it for their own benefit, but I've never heard any credit go back to the man, Scott Sonnen. So, that's,
and that
definitely
kind of
grateful to him.
That kind of irks me, just because, us, like you said, putting in the reps, and then to see what's become of with your master coach's creation, as where it went, and it looked like everybody wanted to have a quick come up, quick sell, a quick fame. And they didn't want to put in reps. At the same time, now everybody's lost with the theory, the concept of Tacfit. So that people have to redig. People have to come into it with the right mindset. Otherwise, this stuff is just clearly not for people if they're just that kind of mindset where they don't want to go deep because they're scared of it, right? They just want to know the cool stuff. You can do cool stuff all day until you get an injury somewhere. That's it's going to happen. But if you stay consistent, and I was talking about this last time, and Aaron would support me on this, that Scott Sonnen, the number one thing that stuck in my mind with him was, and Aaron too, was to build a perfect body by being patient every day. Be
That's
patient and sculpt yourself. And so
learn every component, every piece of the puzzle.
And if it takes static,
enjoy the process.
Absolutely.
Not trying to rush it. Like, I want to do it now. No. Like, enjoy the process.
And understanding it is part of enjoying it too. Cause like you said, it is a complete system. I hear people talk about mobility all the time, and their understanding of it, of course, everyone perceives things, understands things differently. But I've heard people be like, I program, my strength, 1 month, and then I program my mobility the next month, and I'm like,
I don't get that.
Even when it all works together.
The mobility is
together.
part of the workout. Is the workout, is the warm up, is the cool down.
Yeah. Right. I can't get here's my steel club mobility. I'm like, people just don't know what they're saying, how, the right way, right? So when you have someone take clubs and say, oh, this is just good for shoulders, that's such a dumbed down thing to say. Of course this is good for my shoulders. That's what I'm working on. But what can you tell me science-wise what it's going to do for me if I put reps in 3 months later? You tell me what's going to happen to each muscle group, or tell me what's going to happen
globally, right? The whole
everything.
System.
Yeah, my nervous system, my lymphatic system. How well are you going to show? How well are you going to see that I'm going to fatigue and get this inflammation? Or are you this coach that just says go, right? So that's what people forget, that Tacfit is a volume setter.
I think
frequency.
I think another way to think about it too is, like, if you have a piano in front of you, and a lot of people do mobility, They just like ping. I'm gonna do this mobility drill. Ping, ping, ping.
Just random.
Ping, and then into flow is kind of like a melody. It's like just flows like, and it just works down your whole body, you know, from head to toe, and then you're ready to go. You don't leave any stone unflipped, any corner unchecked, and so
Pretty much.
Yeah, you're prepared and ready for whatever comes your way. And like, what's better than that? It only takes. I mean, you could do it as quick as 5 minutes.
Yep.
You know, you could do it 5 minutes. You could do it more thoroughly. 30 minutes. You know, I teach it as a warm up, 5 to 10 minutes,
depending on who your demographic is, right?
Yeah, and I've taught a whole class of it, 45 minutes of it, which you know is great. And it was very much a physical therapy class. I would have people in there that, you know, recovering from injuries, or you know the older baby boomers, you know, coming in, and they loved the class. You know, and I've had, or it'd be for people that were super sore. After a workout, they'd come in, you know, same way. If you're sore, you know, you want to loosen up and feel better and move better. And so it works great for soreness, for warming up, for rehab. I mean, you know, I'm trying to figure out how come physical therapists don't use this stuff, you know.
Right, and that's what I want to know. Like, what do you guys think the right mindset of getting into Tacfit? You know what I mean? So that way people can have that mindset.
I mean, I think for a lot of people, I think it's like only for elite you know, people, or I don't know, they don't understand it, but it's for everybody, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's for, you know, people that are older population, for kids. I mean, it's just all the right stuff for you to be your best, right? To live your best life.
And you'd agree that it's a good way to condition your mind to take away those things, those limiting things like fear, panic, and all that stuff, right? It's a good way to destroy it.
Changes you, changes your mindset, because for you to have the right breath with the movement and the structure, I mean, it sounds so simple, right? But it's changing everything in your mind. Like, correct. Instead of saying I can't, like you're saying, by you doing it, you're like, if you're doing the class, you're training under somebody, you can. And every time you do it, you're saying you can. And little by little, everything starts to change.
That's right.
Including your mindset, even if you're saying you can't. Because if you say you can't, you're not going to be able to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
You follow your brain.
And it's, I mean, it's just the way it's packaged, you know, it looks a certain way. But, you know, I tell people all the time, like I send, you know, our members, we have a private page, and I send them little clips from Tacfit, and I'm like, this is what you guys are doing, except that, you know, we're just modifying stuff, but you see that there's a lot of similarities to what you're doing. Time protocols, a lot of the moves we do. Yeah, you know, whether we modify them or not, that is what they're doing. You know, so I mean,
the principles are there, right?
Oh yeah,
and we did Tacfit,
and you got
every damn day.
And everybody's so busy nowadays. You know, I mean, everybody's busy, has busy lives, works 2 jobs, and so the workouts are 20 minutes. You know, they're bang bang. You know, gets out the stress in your body. It doesn't take a long time to where you're going to be, you know, stressing out your head thinking about the next appointment you got to get to. How long is this going to take? Get in, get your workout in, get everything you need. Feel better, get more relaxed, relieve some stress, and then boom, you get in great shape.
Puts you in a good mood the rest of the day, right? Just in those few minutes.
Yeah,
doing proper warm up, 20 minutes, and nice little cool down.
Just like today when we came in and took the Tacfit class, I drove in, left at
3 in the morning.
3 in the morning.
Just to work out.
Drove into here, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get some food, take a nap, and we're like, hey, we're about to hit some Tacfit. And I was like, nothing. It's like Folgers in my cup. Let's do it. Best part of waking up.
You feel better after, right?
Yeah, I knew right away.
Yeah,
because I was all tight and sore from my workout yesterday, and then the drive, and so I was like, this is gonna be the best morning already. I already knew that.
Yeah, so. Shout out to Scott Sonnen for that workout.
Thank you.
Tacfit. Yeah, I mean, it don't matter where
for me, it's
like
way of life. Yeah, train. You know,
just train. And do it.
We're training the right way.
And then when I'm at hotels, like on vacation, what am I doing? I'm doing Tacfit Commando, the qualifying one. I do that one, the body weight stuff. I'll do it like minute stations. I'll do it Tabata style. I'll mix it up.
Yeah, little flows, Prasara yoga.
Yeah.
All those things, you just think about it, all those movements, all those concentrated focus cueing and fails to succeed, all those, everything. Scott, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's
like
crazy. Around the world, right? Around the world, yeah. It's crazy.
Formulated all that.
And then you can see what Esik was able to create with the mace because of that, because of the understanding of movement quality, and I've learned a lot of great moves with the mace. The upper battle lunge, uppercut. Man, that feels great. And my neck was super tight.
Like
he sent me a video, and boom.
Yeah.
I was like, it was all.
Yeah. Principles, applying those principles
in the mid chest and back. It was awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I'm excited today.
Yeah, man.
Doing the workshop. Yeah. 2 p.m. So let's go to your gym. Tell me what you guys got there. It's in Monterrey, California.
It's in Monterey, California. It's about 5,000 square feet. It's a little bigger than what I was looking for, but it was slim pickings out in that area. So we just me and my business partner, we wanted to get the ball rolling. We started out in Salinas, and I still have a location there where I share rent at. And then we just needed our own space, so we found a spot in Monterrey. It's a little further out than what we were looking for, but it's been working out good so far. We focus a lot on the nutrition aspect of fitness, and also the accountability. Since we do work with general population, that's what they need a lot. We know we're working with moms, dads, just people that want to feel better, get their find some consistency with their working out, live healthier lives. Like, they understand they want to do this, but they don't know how to start, and that's always the hardest part for a lot of people, so I work, that's pretty much what I do right now, is I have consultations with people that are looking for a gym, looking to get things going. And then I also see people that are already working out, doing stuff, love what we're doing, and you can't get them to stop. And then I talk to people that you can't even get them to start. I'm like, you guys need to meet and talk a little bit, motivate each other. So, it's definitely a challenge, in that aspect, because I was used to just teaching class. People that are just there, want to be there. And I'm meeting with people and doing, some kind of sales process to get them into the program. And so that's, that could be, I don't know.
That's the reps you put in, though. You put the reps in to get that kind of respect that Wolf. Remember, like, every time we would do boot camp together, it'd be like a party, but everybody's working out, having a sweat, and it would just be like something people could not leave or miss. So, like, if, say like a husband said, no, you can't go to the gym today, the wife's going to be like, fuck off, I'm going. It's one of those things where they couldn't do it without a day. And, when we left,
I'm used to people being addicted to the stuff.
Yeah, you get addicted for sure.
Yeah,
like for me, I was like, man, we had it was a long day yesterday, and I was like, I need Tacfit to reset my system straight up,
Right? Yeah.
It's like that for sure.
Yeah. I'm balanced. I'm good. It was my coffee. Really, it was my coffee.
Was it really your coffee?
I mean, I got some coffee after, but just because I like the way it tastes.
Coffee supplemented, right?
But that's straight up. Is that movement is like, it wakes me up and I feel really good. I feel in balance, and I'm good. I'm good all day.
Now just wait till your shoulders start screaming at you.
I mean, the crazy thing, right? You learn all the things. If I have like some kind of tightness, I know what to do, so I just stretch it out.
Yeah,
and if it's tight, I just keep stretching it out, and then it goes away. Right. Like I tell my friends, like, I don't really get sore like I used to get sore. I don't really get sore, and if there's tightness, I stretch it out.
I don't really need massages or anything like that. And
sometimes it's nice. You don't feel like, you feel like it, and you just gotta, get stretched out. Yeah. But overall, like, I can, just
simple stretch will do it.
And I notice as the years go on too, of just continually practicing this stuff, like, I mean, you just understand it just on, like you said, deeper and deeper, and just things get easier to, to figure out. You get right to the point. If you have something you need to work on, you feel something tight, one hip, one shoulder, you know exactly where to go and just take care of it right on the spot. Yeah. So it's definitely a blessing to know that stuff, to know how to take care of your body and understand your body. Yeah, because you only get one of them, so you might as well not be a prisoner of it and have it work for you.
Yeah, my friend made that song "Freedom" because that's pretty much like you. If you're not free to move, if you're locked up, like, you're a prisoner in your own body, right?
Prisoner in your own body. That's right.
And when we were back
as you get older
too, I used to teach yoga once a week, and it was actually Scott Sonnen's Ageless Mobility.
Oh, Ageless Mobility! I remember that. Yeah.
Did he have hair in that one? Still, the Interflow, he has hair, right?
No,
did he ever have hair?
He had hair in the video. It was like a
ponytail. Didn't he have a ponytail?
Like, didn't he
that's
do
in
like
the Interflow one? I think. Wait, was it that?
I don't
Ageless
think
Mobility.
He has so many products.
I want to see now. I want to see that.
The video looks like it's done in
I think
VHS.
I vaguely remember that. That's crazy.
VHS. Get Scott Sonnen on VHS.
That's straight out of the 90s, huh? The ponytail.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Scott had a ponytail. That's crazy. I mean, like, I don't think I thought you were talking about hair on his head.
It's like a little mini one.
Like a little mini man bun.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wants to know about that. I don't think he wants anybody to know about that.
We're just joking. We're joking.
So how you when you read the book, and then what happened after that? You healed yourself, you know.
So, yeah,
and
so
then
after
what
that,
and then what was the process to, you know, I guess getting certified and
so after
obviously you're like this is it became a part of you.
Oh
right?
yeah, like once I healed my neck, I was like, give me more. I was like, started digging into the book more and like reading more, because I was just like, you know, this was too. I couldn't believe it myself. You know, I was like the pain I was in, and you know the after picture of my spine and the before
like
picture.
me when I healed my neck, that I could heal myself through movement. What?
Yeah, I mean it was. I mean, I'm not like a. You know, that was probably one of the only things I really dove into like that, and just absorbed every word and everything in there, and you know, watched a lot of the DVDs and stuff like that. And you know, I practiced probably for like 2 years before I went to get a cert or anything like that. So I practiced. So after I healed my neck, I got in really good shape with all the club bells and kettlebells and stuff like that from, you know, all of his resources he had. And then what I did was I was in like the best shape of my life at like 28 or 29 after that, right? So it was about 26 when that neck injury happened. Trained for like 2 years, 28. I went and I still had credits left in school to go to JC. And so I went back and played baseball, signed and tried out for the JC baseball team at like 30 years old. After I got in real good shape, which I was like, you know, I couldn't believe it that, you know, I felt better than I ever did like at 18 or 20. So I was like,
so you are a baseball player with the hat and the glasses.
Yeah, I mean, look, you see it, right?
Here we go.
I'm like,
and then I ended up refereeing baseball too.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
still do it.
why do you still have your umpire outfit on? He's like, what are you talking about? It's my regular outfit. It just
Got
looks
the
like
shape for it, like the head or something. My head's really big, like a baseball head.
So then, yeah, sorry to interrupt you. And
No,
then
it's all
so you played baseball.
Yeah, so I tried out for the team, and there's in the JC in California, there's a lot of JCs, you know, so it's as good as like, you know, universities, college, you know,
Junior colleges.
yeah,
right?
when it comes to their sports, they're you know, they're like baseball especially, and this year, you know, that year I went out, there's probably like 60 kids that went out for it, right, and so you know, I knew it was gonna be tough to get in because they only take so many. I think they're only taking like 20 or 30 or something like that. And so we went through the, you know, the training, the fall ball training, and like the first day, you know, there's tons of people there. Next day we show up, like, you know, numbers start dropping off because the conditioning, and I figured out what they were doing after the first week. They were just trying to weed people out. You're just running us into the dirt, trying to see who's tough, who's gonna be able to make it out. So they're, you know, about 20 or 30 people dropped off at that point. So we're left with about 30 or 40. And then I was going all through that month of training for baseball, and I was keeping up with everybody. I felt myself getting stronger. That I was doing a lot of sprints and running, but my body was prepared for all that high load of activity, that, you know, that high workload we were doing. So we were conditioning from noon or 11 all the way to like 6 or 7 at night for like 5 or 6 hours just running. It felt like I was like, oh my goodness, but I was able to keep up with all these 18-year-olds because of Tacfit and CST,
breathing,
with all that
awareness,
yeah, and so
how to recover.
I remember towards the end of the training, the outfielder coach, that's what I was going out for, he called me over, like, Cruz, I'll get over here, and I was like in the middle of our skill conditioning, so I run down, I'm like, what's up, coach? He's like, how old are you again? And I was like, 30. He's like, God damn it, you don't look 30. Get back out there. And, you know, which was pretty cool. It was like a great honor to, you know, to say that. But I knew that already from doing CST. I knew how good I felt. You know,
unfair advantage.
Yeah, and you know, I hadn't played baseball in a long time, so I just sucked at that part, you know. So, but they did say if there's probably smaller numbers out there, you know, they don't have any stats on me or whatever. But that's my little fantasy I had for a second there. But I wanted to do that, you know, and I wouldn't have been able to even attempt capable. That, yeah, or even try out, or even, you know, have the, you know, the strength, you know, and not have that fear. You know, to do that, to feel confident enough to do that, it's because of the training I put in with CST and Tacfit. So after that, that's when I, you know, ended up linking back up with John and his other trainer he was working with, and we just started teaching. You know, we started teaching basically CST and Tacfit outside in the grass, and then we slowly start building up numbers. This is like in, I don't know, like 08, 09, somewhere around there. Yeah.
2008, 2009.
Yeah. And we're training pretty much outside when boot camps outside were a big thing. When boot camps outside. And then shortly after that.
Right around the time when I got introduced to Scott.
Around that same
time.
time.
I think it was 2007, 2008. Yeah.
And that's when you went up to You went to Bellingham or no?
Actually, no, that was years later. But he came down for my.
Oh, that's right, when he came
assessment, right?
That's
Right, assessment.
Which is wow, man, what a treat.
I know, yeah, just random, right? Yeah. But my mind was blown forever, and I never stopped thinking about it.
Yeah, that's what it'll do with you. I mean, if you have that enough awareness, or you're that in tune enough to, or that present to feel what the stuff is capable of, But I've also met a lot of people that are just kind of like whatever. They just think whatever, and that's just the way they're. Maybe they look at everything like that. Maybe everything they look at in life is like that. They can't find the beauty in things, and so I mean, I was, whatever God had given me to, be able to recognize, greatness and some, a miracle in the system. I'm really blessed for that because, it's changed my whole life and actually set me on a different path than I would have ever thought I would have been on,
He's gotten really good at it too over the years when he started into it, and then when he got a hold of it, the system became something where he can fluctuate the volume level. So you're saying you want to go low intensity, moderate, high. He was pretty much the captain of that. He knew that. Yeah, that's scalability.
Sounds like he lives it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned enough too where I've worked with people that are like, older, 80, 7 years old, and I had to realize, like, maybe for one person, IntuFlow might be like, what is this? Is it even doing anything? And I've done it to other people where I've smashed their nervous system with it because it does go so deep into the body. So I have to really, you have to really, lessen the reps. Where I'm thinking for myself, I could do a number of these reps. I could do 100 of them. And I work with some older people where it's just like, you're working deep, down to the connective tissue, and you have to realize that too. This stuff, works really good. A lot of people don't move that deep into their body, especially, if they're older too. And so, I've learned a lot through working with people, different, a variety of fitness levels, age groups, and doing IntuFlow with all of them. And I mean, who hasn't it not worked with? There was that, nobody. It's worked with everybody, so.
You can't get injured in this system. I'm serious. Like if you follow the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the rules are not rules like, you need to obey me, but they're rules to say, listen to the rules so you don't injure yourself. Like,
actually, it doesn't work for one person. Person that doesn't use it doesn't work for them.
Oh yeah, it doesn't work for the person that does not even put themselves in the system for sure.
You have to be open to it, right? You have to be open to it, and then as you show up and you do the reps, you'll feel it. That's my observation. People come in and they start to feel like a little different after like a week, 2 weeks.
They almost don't even know what it is.
Right.
And it's like, it's actually the IntuFlow warm up.
Like our Muay Thai coach, his elbows, his shoulders, he was in a lot of pain. And then he started coming in and then he's like, oh, my shoulders feel better. Oh, my elbows feel better. And then after like, I think like a month or a couple months, he's like, he forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't hurt anymore. And now he's in, now he's in. He just makes it a part of his training.
Which is a trip. It's almost like the pain was never there. You easily to forget about, I've seen that happen too. And that's another thing I'm grateful for. I never forgot about how much pain I was in when my neck was jacked up. So that always, whenever there was times I felt like, this is tough, it's hard to make a living doing this stuff, and which it still is, I just always think back at that point and that, it's, Scott is, doing God's work by building that system. I understand it very well. So that's where I say I feel obligated to do the same to help people out and also, be a strong team member and team player for the system. I feel like that's part of my duty too.
Yeah.
Because I just want to see the system do well and get the credit it deserves, like we talked about.
I honestly
that's huge for me.
Want to jump on that one because like we were on that CST Tacfit level before, like we really had that iron root that you couldn't break, so coming back into this
that we talked about, how it really changed you,
yeah,
right? With Aaron's mentorship and doing those things, right?
So those things you can't say that will vanish, they'll stay in you. So coming back into this, like he said, to represent Scott's on his name a little louder, just that much.
So you started training for the cert, and what was the first cert you did?
The first one I did was in Bellingham, Washington, at the. They had a hotel they would rent out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. That's a holiday. Was it a Holiday Inn or a Howard Inn or one of those things? Yeah,
exactly. And so we used
same
that
place.
Carpet, that same carpet floor
yeah.
that everyone sweated on. It was great. It was a great little spot, and filled, it held 50 people. That's how many people were there. And I remember I was like so nervous when I went there. I was like,
which cert was that? The CST?
It was a CST.
CST,
yeah, just CST. I don't know if we did the Tacfit one right
No.
after that.
We
didn't
exist
did-
yet, right?
we
Didn't
did-
exist yet.
That's right. Yeah.
We did Tacfit in Bellingham, but it was at another spot. It was like a
you're right.
gym in a small little room. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we went out there, and it was I think we all went, didn't we?
Yeah, we all
It
went.
was all like 5 of us, 4 of us.
There was quite a few people that went there,
Yeah.
but
And then, it was everyone from who we were training with,
Yeah.
in Salinas, and so they pulled us up on stage like towards the end of that certification. I remember they pulled us up there, and I was like, oh shoot, I was super shy and pretty timid back then, but so I was being up on the spot. I was already, my heart rate was jumping up. I was like, what is this about? I didn't even know what it was about. I was like, we in trouble, used to getting in trouble. Is this what I'm up here for? No. And then he was just like, he's like, they addressed the whole class, the whole certification. They were like, if you want to, an example of how you should be and how you want to be, look at these guys right here. Because we were all training together, doing all this stuff together, and really keeping each other accountable to the system. And so, I was really nervous about doing well too. So I was really training hard to going into that. And I guess they really noticed it. All the coaches noticed it and pulled us all out. They knew we all came together. So it was definitely an honor to get put up on stage like that and get recognized for all the hard work we had put in and stuff like that. So I remember that being a special moment that I won't ever forget. They did that, and the workshops were great. We had at the time, Scott Simon had all these other coaches that understood the system really well too, and they all had their different backgrounds that that they specialized in, that they would give their personality of the system to it. So that's the other beautiful thing about it. It's for everybody, and you could get you could see the person's personality through through the principles and the foundation of CST, which is really cool, because then you get to really see people for who they are too, and really meet them for who they are through their expression of movement. And I don't think you really get that a lot, like in life in general. A lot of things are superficial, but this is definitely not one of those things.
Yeah, I see that with obviously my martial art has been Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so you see that, like, you can't, like, your personality comes out, like who you are really comes out. You can't fake it.
Yes.
And I feel the same with Tacfit and that stuff. Yeah, if
That's
you're a coward, if you're whatever, like those things come out. But you change it if you keep showing up, right? And you start to learn those connections happen in the body and changes you forever.
Yeah.
those freak out moments don't happen no more.
Get more relaxed.
Yeah, it's a trip.
Situations,
And you can apply it to anything, right? Like any sport, right? You can apply. You can just make it better.
Even if you get pulled over by a cop, you can lower your heart rate down.
That's it. No, it's a shh.
It's a shh.
The shoe. So you did the CST, and then when did the Tacfit happen?
Did CST, Tacfit happen? When was the first time I went to that? So the first one was the instructor.
That was in Bellingham as well?
And that was in Bellingham, and that's when we did. I was trying.
What was the name of that gym? It's like a Bellingham Athletic Club.
Yeah, the
Yes,
athletic club. Yeah,
yes.
that's
When
right.
all the old dudes are in the.
Yeah, you walk through the whole gym. Yeah, yeah.
Scott used to do his videos.
No, they're all naked and they have like a spa in the bathroom. I don't know if they had it back then.
And then everyone goes to the back and they're like, "What are those guys doing back there?" we're just back here just crushing workouts while you're on the elliptical.
Machine.
While you're on the elliptical,
Rises.
which is
Of
great.
machines.
But it's like, come on
Yeah,
off
they're
that
moving,
elliptical.
yeah.
You can do this stuff too. Come on in here.
Yeah, it's a trip, guys going going hard, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a
This
different
is
place.
weird.
Yeah.
You see people.
As many times I've been there, I haven't figured it out what's going on there.
No.
quite
They still have
yet.
carpet
Yeah.
on the floor. They still did last time I went.
Are you
and-
serious?
and they,
Wow.
they look at you like you're crazy, but then they're on the machine, and that's crazy. It's crazy.
It's always overcast and foggy there, so I remember that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Washington,
Marina.
right?
Yeah.
So you did the Tacfit cert at the gym in Bellingham.
Yeah, we did it in that back room, that tight back room. And we went for Tacfit instructor. Did I do it? Was it there or was it in LA? It was in LA,
LA's
right?
instructor, and then you did your leader.
Yeah, that's right. So I did the CST
Bellingham.
instructor in Bellingham, and then I came back. I think it was like a half a year or a year later. Scott was doing some stuff with he wanted to utilize John for some videos and stuff like that. So I stayed back and had taught. I think he went up and got Tacfit instructor certified, And then when we went down to LA, whose gym was that? That was Lagarde, right?
Thousand Oaks.
Thousand Oaks or the Valley?
I'm sorry.
Thousand Oaks.
Thousand Oaks.
Okay.
And it was a boxing gym by Brandon Jones. Jones gym.
But the officer ran it.
Okay.
The officer.
Coach Lagarde.
Oh, yeah. Coach Lagarde. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, he was down there, and they had the boxing ring in the back. And then they had, some space, some rings to work out around there. Remember that? And they had the front room with all the mats in the mirror.
It was crowded, cramped, full.
And then there's a lot of funny things that happened back now that I remember that. But, yeah, it was super packed, and we were training there for that Tacfit cert and ended up getting my instructors there. And then I think that's when John and Shane did their team leader there at that time.
Right.
Like after we had left, after we finished ours. And then, so I got the instructor one, went back home, continued training with everything I learned, started putting more pieces to the puzzle together. So it was always like that. Whenever I went to, I'd study the books, I'd do the work, I'd go down on the certifications, pick all the coaches' brains, so I was always super grateful for that, especially whenever Scott was there and he would teach and stuff. I'm like, man, I'm going in that room where he's at. I want to hear what he has to say. So I always picked up good information from that. And then the next one they had was for CST team leader, right?
Or level 2, or was it head coach? Head coach.
That's for head coach. Yeah, head coach. So head coach, and then Tacfit team leader. That's right.
So you did, I think you were telling me before, 3 days, right, of the CST, and then 2 days after that you did it was 5 days, right, that you were training.
Yeah, and you'd think you'd be crushed, right? You're doing 3 days of CST training, and it's tough training. You're in there 6-8 hours, going at it, club bells, flow fit. But you just feel great. You feel like you're moving better. Everything's opened up, and then you go right into the Tacfit after that, and you're thinking you might be fatigued or your muscles might be smoked, but you're able just to hold your structure and still get the job done. It's like amazing. You just keep hydrating, keep eating, keep doing into flow before every workout, and then you're able to complete it, and you feel good all the way through. And then
shows you our capabilities, right?
Oh yeah, I mean,
we
it was amazing.
Underutilize what we think we're able to do.
Yeah, I love those 5 day certifications. I mean, I know not a lot. Some people did them, not a lot of people did them, but I felt blessed to be able to spend 5 days just doing fitness. Most people would be like, "Why would you do that?" And I was like, "Man, this is, I'm like, in Disneyland right now. This is great. Loved every second of it." And I would come back and I would teach right away. We'd be there the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday would be the Tacfit, and then I'd come back and teach Wednesday right away, thinking like, how am I going to feel when I get up in the morning? I'd teach at 5 a.m., and I was moving around better than if I didn't go to that.
You're woke.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like no tension, I couldn't have any tension because I was everything was smoked already. All my muscles are smoked, so there was nothing fighting anymore. I was just kind of just totally relaxed, moving around. So
how did you feel after the Tacfit team leader?
Man, it was awesome to complete that, and then for them to let me know that I passed and made team leader, and I was it was a very new program, and I was the fifth person ever.
The fifth person, yeah.
Yeah, and so that, all that was very much an honor, and I was over the moon, thinking about it, and it was great, and I was able to come back home and just, and it definitely boosted up my confidence every time. Like I felt like, I really earned those. And I didn't want to do it any other way. Like I trained hard for them when I went in and really prepared myself. And so, I could give it my all when I was there. And so it was nice to, to get the paperwork that go with it. And I felt like it was a complete system. You're learning a lot on how to teach people the stuff, how to coach yourself, how to understand what it is that you were learning. And, I never been around I've done other certifications, tons of certifications, and I've never been a part of one that's that complete, where it allows you to really understand the foundation of it and for you to build off of that, because a lot of people make stuff, you could get really complex into the human body and fitness and stuff like that, but it doesn't have to be, so much, it can be as complex as you want, or you can keep it as simple as you want. And I think that's the way it should be. So it's digestible for everybody. You know, a lot of people understand things a lot of different ways. So, you know, as soon as you get someone moving, you know, they're going to start understanding things. And then you could kind of, and that's what I did. I would just start moving. I'd reread material, and maybe not understand it the first time I read it. Then I would start doing it. And then I would be like, that's what he meant. You know, after I do it, go back, read it again. I'm like, oh, I went through that experience. I know exactly what that means now when I didn't understand it before. And I just kept doing that back and forth. So I must have went through the CST manual, like, I don't know how many times doing that, you know, until I understand it, you know, front and back. So, and it worked.
I understand. When I was flying, when I was traveling to these different places, I'd be looking at studying the CST manual, like one paragraph, and now I understand it. Whereas I didn't before from doing
so
the movements and
the way you get inside Scott's brain the way you
and
really
it's from
get to
doing the
see.
reps, right?
Yeah,
doing the reps.
Yeah.
What do you recommend for somebody going to certify?
Someone going to certify.
Prepare. Yeah, what should they? What's the mindset? What should they be thinking about
to
prepare to be their best?
Yeah, it'll just be.
Get the best out of it, right?
Yeah, all the
out of the process.
Yeah, all the information is in the work. You know, is in the mobility work, in the foundation, in the trial by fire. The more you understand that, the better you move, the stronger you get. Your mind is going to open up to more possibilities and what you can actually do with your body. So just from that, you're going to find new things that work for you, and learn about weaknesses that maybe you have that now you know how to address and work on. Instead of just always going towards your strengths, which is something I learned in CST. It helped me find out where I'm weak at, and then I would always program that stuff, because it's humbling, right? And I would do that because, of course, I could put in something that I'm really good at and boost my confidence. So say if I wanted to work on like 3 things I'm not good at, I might throw in 3 things I am good at, and then I don't feel like a sap the whole time. I get some kind of little confidence boost. But for me, I understood that already. I didn't need that, and I was pretty humble. So I just programmed everything I was terrible at, and I put it in Tabatas, and I would just grind them out like that, and and just stick to the principles and philosophy of a CST. Read the material, do the work, and your body will figure out what's going on for sure.
Let's go back to Esik. You got I don't think we finished our how he got in. You guys met, and then in high school, you guys went to high school together, right?
Seaside High.
And then how did that happen? Where you started helping him for the certifications?
Erik, his mom cooks killer Korean food.
Oh,
she's a great cook.
We were talking about that last night.
Yeah, and Erik's a good son, so you'd help her out along with his other brother too. That I like to help her out as well. And so she would have these farmer markets. She used to take her stand all the way out to Fort Hunter Liggett.
DLI.
DLI.
Yeah, it's a department.
But like once a year, she would go all the way out off. Was it DLI?
No, farmers market in downtown Alvarado,
and that's where I met Erik at, was right there. And I knew him from Seaside High, and that's where I was talking to him about what I was doing. And we talked about. Told me about the massage that he does, and I was like, you know what, that'll be perfect for at the gym, and so I was like, we hit it off right away. I mean, we knew each other in Seaside High, but then that was the first like really sit down conversation we had, and I was like, man, he'd be really cool to to work with, because I was pretty much working by myself at that point. And so he came in, and he would just post up right there. He's like, you just sit there kind of like, I don't know what I'm. What am I going to do? How am I going to do? I was like, don't worry, man. Just hang out right here. I'm going to bring people to you, and then you work your magic with your massage on them. So I would like usher people over to him, and then put them down. Like, this is Erik. Erik, this is Sally. She has some stuff going on with her. Because I would see all the dysfunction in people when I'm working with them, and I see them playing with their stuff, their tightness.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, here, Erik, let's work on this.
He's like, what attracted you to like body work, and then of course the movement. The systems or just this movement, like Scott's work.
The body work on the massage stuff was really interesting, just because the professor I have was saying the body heals itself, and that blew my mind. I said, what? how could the body heal itself? You need medicine for that, or you need something to supplement. But they showed that manual therapy can actually work, right? It can get your body to be a little bit more free and less pain. So I was like, what's the next thing after this? And then I found out it was fitness. So when I left school, I went to Monterrey, met this guy because he was doing fitness already. So I was already in that mind, like, you know, I don't do fitness, but I kind of like that whole trade-off. You know, you work out, you hurt something accidentally, and then you can get that out, you know. But I started seeing these things that he trains with. So I'm over here massaging people. I'm looking across the room, and I see Aaron training this big old black baseball bat. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I'm just in awe right now. And then he comes over. He goes,
looking all serious. Huh?
Yeah,
like, what's he doing with this,
like
this black?
Like, are you trying to hit something? But
all focused.
Yeah, real focused, and these movements were just foreign, very foreign. And so I asked him. I said, hey man, you know, what are you doing? You know, that to me that's not even fitness, you know, because that's new. I don't know what the hell that is, you know. He said, try it. So I was like, all right.
I remember that too.
Yeah. So I was like, all right. So I got a 20 pound, and he's like, I was like, what? He's like, grab a 10. I go, 10. And so I grabbed that thing, and it peeled off my wrist, and I was like, oh my God, I had no dexterity. I thought I was strong. I literally thought I was strong.
Doing manual therapy, right?
Yeah, I thought it was a manual therapy. It's strong. You know, I felt strong, but man, that thing, that 10 pound I just put in my hand, it just veered off to the right, and it was over. So I was like, holy shit. And then he looks at me like, is that now? Is it not heavy? You know what I mean? Like, this thing is not about weight. It's about your intention and integrity in this thing, right? So, you know, once you find your integration, then that's out the window. So that's what he's been trying to teach me over those years. And being a hardhead, you know, like I've only known people to do running for exercise or you know, jumping jacks or whatever. There's these simple, stupid things that are super irrelevant to this day if we're using it for strength conditioning, right? It's not relevant. So he takes me to these clubs, the body weight mechanics, and I'm sold because the process going through it, I started getting better. I mean, obviously I'm not looking real good, you know, at any point, but the process of it started to get better. And for him,
you pretty much self-train yourself on everything, even the club bells too.
Yeah, but
all you did was just ask. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but
like, that's all I needed to hear. I was like, grab this.
Yeah,
and I showed you two things, and you took it on your own.
Yeah,
like you've done everything else.
But there was things where you would see and go, get that shoulder down. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? So those are the other cues that you would remind me. So you'd tell me how to engage before I do it. Great. But then you would always stay on me when I'm working. So you don't leave me alone. You stay on me and you tell me, hey man, why are you swinging it like that? Like start all over, you know? And I'm like, oh shit. You know, I that's the respect, you know, that I can respect him to give me cleaner reps, you know, and if I give him that respect, then he's going to feel that respect, and he's going to know that the humbleness is there for him to tell me anything he wants to tell me. I'll go ahead and do it, you know? So as that process went, he just kind of turned me into a monster, like this skinny guy just swinging heavy clubs, and people going, how the fuck is that happening? You know what I mean? Like the strongest
technique, huh?
Biggest motherfucker in the world can't even swing what that skinny motherfucker is swinging. And this guy helped me do it. And so, you know, I get a lot of people on messages going, so you're what? How old? Or you're how old and what's your weight? I said, I'm about to be 40 and I'm 170. They're like, God, it blows my mind. You can swing a 35 like that. Like, you know, so when people say that now, they need to hear this because they don't know where the history of all that came from. They think it's, oh yeah, it came from India and look, yeah, that there's a history to it. But the heavy club, that's Scott.
Yeah,
Scott took that
and moving it all those different ways like that.
Yep,
that's
heavy,
revolutionary.
Heavy clubs in Europe, they're mostly just milling them.
Yeah, just milling.
They're not really doing much else with it. You know, not like what Scott does with it.
I like the clean with the club. That's so effective.
I love that move.
To get that lat activation. Once you adduct, there's no activation. Right. You pull, lift, and then drive for that activation on the lat. So I really think this guy took me to the addiction because that's all I could think. I could live, breathe in that. And then that took me towards my childhood. Remember, like we said, you act like a kid again.
Yeah.
And therefore Marvel came out. and I'm nuts about Marvel.
But another key point to make too is that his education with massage and the anatomy of the body, I never had that. And so as much as I showed him that, you know, that he's appreciative for. He showed me how to do body work on people, and it gave me a better understanding of the body because of that. Because now I'm able to feel other people's bodies, how those muscle trains work, and conceptualize them and internalize it. And then he showed me techniques on how to not, wear out my body giving the massage, so I don't need one after.
Leverage and using gravity.
And so that was
not against you, but for you.
That was super beneficial for me up until this point. Actually, even for my survival, because when we all split ways, I was pretty much just hopping from gym to gym, trying to look for clients and stuff like that. I had a small following, but it wasn't enough to really do much. And so being able to supplement my income with doing massage with people because of what he showed me was huge. It's huge on me building up clientele. Building trust with people, understanding, Intuflow and CST better because of that. Helping out with some of my own fears, because you go through something when you're working on somebody where, you go, I remember in the beginning, I was kind of nervous about touching, other people, but then you get over that. And that's something to be talked about when that happens, because then you get, used to being in people's space and it's just, you get to break past those barriers and it's just, you don't have all this, stuff that doesn't matter going on, between two people that shouldn't.
Right. Like one person's vulnerable in pain and you're about to put your hands on them. And it's like, they say they're ready, but are they, and, in jiu-jitsu, you guys tap, ready to go. Yeah, let's go. And then there's an agreement, right? But this person's in agreement for their pain level. And if you hit something wrong or something, then they're going to really feel it differently.
You emailed Scott this year. And that's kind of how we started talking,
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. Yeah,
it's been like a lot of years, right?
Yeah, it's been a while, since me and Scott been in contact. When we were working at Wolf Fitness Systems, there's just a lot of stuff that happened, on the underneath that, it was really hidden from me. A lot of things I didn't know what was going on. And still don't in detail, but I just know, like we talked about earlier, like vibes and like that energy. Like I just knew something was wrong. And, it was never really talked about, communicated or understood or anything like that. And had nothing to do between me and Scott. It was just, the working environment I was in and, me and Erik were in. And, it didn't end like it should have. It was ended in a way where, it was very hurtful to all of us, and
it really damaged us as friends.
We almost, Erik's always been a good friend of mine. We didn't, it's not like me and John, we grew up together. We known each other since we were little kids, since, like diaper stuff. And, but that doesn't really mean anything a lot of times. A lot of times you could just meet somebody the first day you've ever met them and just connect with that person right off the bat, and, Erik was like that. It was like we were friends our whole lives when we met. And so that was one thing that, was really tough for me when everything went down, was that, I wasn't gonna be able to talk to my friend for a while. But I knew things had to run its course, things, so my mom always told me the cream always rises to the top, and so, the truth always comes out, and just always believed in, if you mean well and, and you have morals and live by some standards, then that's gonna matter more in the long run. People figure things out, and yeah, I mean, that was just that was a trip while all that went down. And since I was in the dark in a lot of stuff, and I'm a pretty emotional person, and we're not our wisest when we're emotional and we try to talk or do whatever. I went on social media and I had made a statement about something that I had seen, from Scott, and it was wrong. I didn't have all the information, and almost immediately I realized it was wrong, and it was actually old information, and it had nothing really to do with that, and more or less to do with all the underlining stuff that was going on,
kept secret
with us at work, and how my employer was keeping stuff from me, and just not being how a leader should be, to handling business and And you can see that, like, if stuff's not right, you know, it'll roll downhill, and then nobody's happy, right? If people aren't getting treated the right way. And so, I mean, during that time, a lot of
high emotions.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's going on. We ended up splitting our ways. John ended up, getting a contract in Austin, Texas, and going out there and leaving with Erik. And during that time, he was talking to me about having me go out there with him, and I was really skeptical about that. I didn't want to do that. I kind of had an idea what was going to happen going out there. Like, it wasn't in detail, but you know, I'm not an idiot. You know, I could see stuff, but I always got treated like I was one. But I knew they were going to use the on-it market and use that market and that megaphone for CST. And I kind of knew that they were going to break it apart. They're going to, you know, kind of bastardize the system, split it into pieces, and sell it into like 4 different certifications. And so when I saw that, I was like, of course, right? And then, you know, something that that we always, John always talked to me about was like, yeah, we go out there, you know, you go, in the middle of the United States, people have never seen this stuff before. You know, all we got to do is get $1 from each one of them. You know, if there's 1 million of them, then boom, and something like that. And I was like, you know, that's fine. You know, the system works great. You know, it'll work anywhere. But I was always under the impression that, you know, we'd give credit back to the person, to Scott Sonnen. And I never ended up going out there. You know, we ended up bumping heads and going our separate ways. And then, so he took Erik with him. And I knew he had to take somebody with him to, you know, make him look good and stuff. So he took him out there, and then Erik, you know, and I've worked underneath the guy before. I knew how it was, and I didn't want to put myself in that situation. So I was already on the fence of it. And then Erik went out there, and, I know he was just, you know, at the time, just easy for the pickings, you know, to get taken advantage of. But at the same time, Erik was really talented with video and marketing himself and editing video. So
traveled with Scott Sonnen around Italy back in the day.
Yeah. And so
shooting a lot of those instructionals, Primal Stress.
Yeah, all those.
Yeah, and so he was able to, you know, he did a lot better than I think I would have did out there, because he was able to create a way out through on its market and his video editing skills too. And he created, you know, all the mace. Really, I saw that catch wildfire from what he was doing, really, and now everyone uses those things now. You know,
so I kind of know what Scott feels.
Yeah, and so and you can see people, you know, taking that mace and just creating, you know, just whatever with it. When Erik, you know, laid down the foundation through CST using the mace, so it's basically, you know, another, you know, foundational tool from, you know, from what we were trained under. And, you know, you've seen how you can easily get exploited if you're able to get taken advantage of, because now you see a lot of people doing different stuff, but no credits coming back to them. And I see on it posting up stuff sometimes and, you know, saying it's theirs. And I'm like, impossible, because nobody was doing that before I seen him doing it. And I've been doing Intuflow and CST since the beginning. And so I could see the similarities, and I've seen where it's like, where could they possibly have got that from? You know, there's nowhere else they could have got that stuff from. You know, it's just impossible. You know, I mean, of course, there's things that are similar, but the way they put it together, the way they do, into a flow, or, you know, into that complete system, it's very obvious when you see that. And at this point, there's people doing it that don't even realize where it came from. That's how far it spiraled away.
Yeah, but still, the Tacfit and all that stuff is still the complete thing. Complete package.
And exactly. And I've been, like I said, I've been to all these other certs and everything like that. And that's, you know, I've tried to implement other systems, and I always go back to the complete package of CST and Tacfit, because it's, I mean, why mess around with other stuff if it's just, you know, there's nothing. Yeah, if it's not broke, why fix it, kind of thing. You know, of course I do other stuff, and I like exploring my movement, but everything.
That's your foundation.
Everything,
principles.
Yeah, that's my foundation, CST, and everything is built off of that. And
jump starting it all is the number one thing that could actually get people to look back at the history and say, oh, wow, this has been out before everything else. And that's a huge honor to Scott to see that. If that's a capability of ours to do something like that, to spread to the masses, and not just say, hey, look, we're here to just correct things, but we're here to inform. That's all. Hey, you're doing Tacfit stuff. You're doing CST stuff. What is that? Research your work, and you'll see it. And you'll see the dates dated back from
the 90s.
That's right. And so therefore, you'll get more believers in that sense because they already believe in what they're doing now, but now they dug deep to believe.
And then they can go deeper too.
That's right. And that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that these people that have this mindset in this fitness world right now, wherever they got their movements from, I don't care where they got their movements from. If it wasn't from Scott Sonnen, then you're doing what Scott Sonnen did by emulating it. And that can be a dangerous thing because you're missing the key points and the key components to what Scott, teaches. And that's the realest thing I could ever say.
Right? The intention's not there.
And to be real, if people are out there doing all these movements that Scott did and calling it their own, shame on you, dude. Really. Because like if I saw someone doing that, I would not hesitate getting in their face and be like, you're ripping off this guy named Scott Sonnen. And that's just the truth. I mean, you have to protect the truth. If you don't, then it becomes lost and it's a joke. And so for me, it's a very big honor that I carry on his name to keep the truth alive. Otherwise, people are going to bastardize everything. And it could be John Doe who made it all up. And this guy's such a dork and doesn't understand anything. And
copies and stuff.
Yeah.
It's all you can teach your own, right? But it's, the truth is it came from all these things came from Scott. Scott's work, Scott's, the bad stuff happening in his childhood, him overcoming dyslexia and all his childhood traumas, right?
I mean, his reps are harder.
And finding his learning style through martial arts and then building this thing.
And that's the thing. Like we had to figure out that everything out there said about him or taken from him, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
To me, it's bullshit. I think people should honor the fact that this guy has pioneered all this, has tried to work with on it, had to work with a lot of other systems. Everybody didn't want to; they just wanted to take.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like to me. I mean, from the outside looking in, only being given certain information, it just looked like he was just constantly being exploited by certain people that he let in too close. It was like, and it was really sad to, to see that and then, have everything go down. That's the biggest thing about everything I said about, John and all of us, this and that. Like, I don't want to speak bad, on anybody like that, but I mean, to have gone through that, it was like really painful and hurtful for me. It was like a bad, experience in my life. But I'm also grateful for it at the same time because I learned a lot. I learned about what I don't want to do or how I want to carry out my days and my lives, with people,
Look yourself in the mirror and know you did the right thing.
I don't want to, bull
stuff
crap
that helped you,
around,
that healed you.
And that's why I wanted to be honest about all that because, I have no reason to, lie or anything. I'm not going to gain anything from that or anything like that. It just is what it is. Stuff happens where people make bad decisions, and I know what I did, where I was, my parts that were wrong and everything, and now I have power to. I'm in a position to not let stuff like that ever happen to people that work for me or anything like that. And that's where I feel grateful for that because now I could be a stronger leader and not just leave people for the wolves like that, And so literally.
Thank you guys. How can people find you, Aaron?
I'm in Monterrey, California, Alta Performance Institute. And then also I have a shared location in Salinas. And
Instagram, social media.
Instagram, same thing. Alta Performance and
Institute
and Facebook as well.
So at Alta Performance Institute, you might find one on Facebook. That's Alta Performance Institute Monterrey and Salinas. Those are all the same. So just make sure you guys add them, follow them. They have great recovery systems and great training methods. That's all Tacfit related.
Wow, thank you. Done this before.
Radio. DJ.
Thank you guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate
you, Professor.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.